This is Monday the 8th of September reflections. So we started today off by doing a quick warm-up. We did Mr. Brightside. This is where we jump, we do 8, turn and clap, and then you get in 4 lines and you do that, and then you do 6, and then you do, so you just gradually go down, and then we swap lines, so first and second line swap and third and fourth line swap. Then after that we did a few like swaying stretches just to stretch the body. Then we got into pairs/threes, and we did some like puppet kind of thing. So one person would kind of tell the other person what to do, as with Caitlin for this work, and you just try pick the most simplest movements. And if you move in that, want to bring the arm above your head, you got to think the shoulder goes first, then the elbow, then the arm goes up, because that's how you would move like a puppet, like a mannequin kind of thing. Like that's how you would move it. So you had to think about the joints in the body and how they actually move when you bring your arm up. I found this exercise really fun and kind of interesting as well, because you had to think about the joints and how you would actually move something. After that, we then performed our puppet things to everyone who was the puppet master, then swapped and did it again. We then got into a small group and we made a machine, like, so one person would maybe move their arms round, the next person might grab, move, like that kind of thing to make a machine. Then we did it in a certain speed, and then Matt would clap his hands of a rhythm, and that's how we would have to go. So he did slow ones like, and then he did fast ones like this. It was quite hard because I feel like depending on how the person in front of you's gone, it makes you mess up more when the rhythm's faster, but when it's slower you're trying to like move slower. So if you had like a movement that went 1, 2, 3, if the rhythm was, so that'd be 1, 2. So where would you fit that in the middle movement in? So you had to like think about that. We then watched 2 videos, which were, one was a kitchen, like a restaurant kitchen preparing food, and then one was just a woman preparing food. And they were both very like, because we looked into naturalism and how they're not only performing, but you have to know how to do the thing to make it look natural. So you have like the woman in this second video we watched, she had to know how to make her omelette, I think it was. If she didn't know, then it would look less natural and you'd know she didn't know how to do it. But yeah, like that kind of thing. We then learn a bit about Meyerholt and some of his like elements of biomechanical, like his movements. I'm not going to try to them, so I'm just going to put them in my work as a photo, but it like he has different elements to his movements. We then got into pair work and threw a ball to each other, and then once we realised every element of our movement when we were throwing the ball, so me and Caitlin noticed that when we threw the ball, we brought it behind us and threw underarm, but as we threw, we bent our legs. We also realised that when we catched with both hands and bent our legs. So then we had to do it without the ball and try like do the movements as if we had the ball. And by the end of it, I actually felt like I had the ball, because it felt like because I was doing the same movements and it just started feeling natural, like I had the ball. We then learnt a piece of movement from Meyerholt, which is throwing the stone. It was very odd and felt really like unnatural and like uncomfortable in a sense, because I feel like my body was moving in places that moving in ways that it doesn't normally move, so it was really odd. After break, we then did some like vocal stuff, so vocal preparation, like warming up the vocal folds and stuff like that. And then we spoke about how your voice changes with certain emotions. Yeah, and then we spoke about lip pads, so loudness, intonation, note, tone, pace, accent, diction, and special feature. We then spoke about anger, and we got a sheet and we had to write, like, for each section of lip pads, how we express anger through our voice and how it changes depending on different ways you are speaking. We then did some Macbeth work. We got given a circumstance, and it was a scene. It was the scene where Lady Macbeth is not happy with Macbeth and for not going through with killing the king. Then we got given a bit of text and we had to think about where the anger comes in and how they're saying it. So Macbeth in the beginning, he's quite timid. He's not really angry. He's more beside himself. Then Lady Macbeth, we spoke about how she would speak very quickly but quite clear diction. And then Macbeth would be very loud, because we spoke about how there's people everywhere in where they live. They live in this massive castle full of servants, so there's always people around. So Lady Macbeth is very quiet, quick, and got quite good diction, so Macbeth can hear her. But Macbeth doesn't think about that and lashes out, and is quite loud and not quite good at diction. So we thought about those things. We then did something, so we had a box of objects and we had to take an object. I picked a hanger, and you have to investigate it, like how big is it, how like heavy is it, how it feels, the colour, the sound, and obviously other things. So is it broken? Is it flimsy? Do you think it'd be good in the natural world? Stuff like that. Then we had to, after we'd investigated the object, we put the object down and we had to pretend it was back in our hands, even though it wasn't in our hands. I found this really hard because I felt like I couldn't see the object in my hands, so I was just kind of just trying to remember everything about the object in my brain so I could see it. But I was struggling because it's such an, like, I don't know, it was I found that task really difficult. Then we thought about, like, what if it was like a different object? So I turned mine into maybe, like, so turning it into like maybe a toothbrush or a headband. I turned mine into a hair curler. So you had to then try use it as if it was something else. After that, we then got into small groups and we had to act like we were in a lift. So, like, trying to make it realistic. My group noticed there was a box on the floor, so we used that as our lift. So we knew that that's the space we couldn't move out of. And we had to make it seem like it was realistic. So we envisioned that there was a mirror on one side and then maybe a pole on the other that you could hold on to. And then, like, remembering to do the buttons, how you would interact with people. So we all stood in different corners, because I feel like when you get into a lift with other people, you tend to go away from people. You don't stand in the middle. So yeah, I found this task really fun, and I really enjoyed, like, envisioning it. And I feel like I proper envisioned it because I felt anxious doing it, which is how I feel in a lift. And that was the end of Monday. Thank you.